Thinking about booking a private boat charter in Mallorca, Spain? You're in the right place. I recently did this with my family when they came to visit me in Spain, and it ended up being the highlight of our entire trip. In this video, I'll share exactly what our experience was like, what's included, how to book it, and whether I think it's worth adding to your trip. I'll also share some tips to help you plan your own boat day. And if you want to check out the exact private charter that we booked, I've included the link in the video description. First, let me give you a quick overview of what this experience actually is. A private charter basically means you're renting the entire sailboat just for your group along with a licensed skipper. For us, that meant total flexibility. We could swim, snorkel, paddleboard, or just sit out in the sun with a glass of cava while the coastline slowly passed by. I've done a few other boat days in Spain, but Mallorca has definitely been the best yet. The coves are calm, the water is insanely turquoise, and seeing the coastline from the sea gives you a totally different perspective. Now that you've got a quick overview, let's talk about what's included. We did a 4-hour sail, and pretty much everything we needed was already covered. We had snorkel gear, paddle boards, life jackets, snacks, wine and cava, and all fuel included. There were some optional upgrades too, like more food, extra drinks, hotel pickup, and even sea scooters if you want something a bit more active. We added the food and drink upgrade, and I'm glad we did because the food was delicious and beautifully presented. The skipper fee is not included in the base price, but that's pretty standard and completely worth it for how well our captain handled everything. Now, let's talk about the boat itself because this really added to the experience. Ours was a beautiful sailboat that fit up to 8 people. There was a full cabin underneath, a small bathroom, and a seating area with a table at the back. There was also plenty of space at the front, along with some pads where we could stretch out in the sun. It felt polished, but also really comfortable, kind of like spending the day on a friend's boat. Next, let's talk about location because the island of Mallorca is bigger than you'd expect. Our charter departed from Port d'Andrat. I'm sure I'm not saying it right, but it's on Mallorca's northwest coast and ended up being super convenient since we were staying nearby. Because we didn't have a car, we added the pickup option and we were collected in a private SUV. It made the whole thing really easy and just took away that stress of figuring out transportation early in the morning. If you're staying in the west or northwest areas of the island, this port is a great starting point. Now let's talk about how to book this experience. We reserved our charter about 2 months in advance, which I definitely recommend if you're traveling during summer because these spots fill up fast. The booking process was simple, the communication was clear, and most of the details were handled over WhatsApp as our date got closer. You can choose between a morning sailing or an afternoon one. Our morning trip was from 9:30 to 1:30, which worked perfectly for us. The boat fits up to 8 people, so if you're traveling with family or friends, the value is really good. And if you want to check current rates and availability for the same charter we booked, I added the link in the video description. Now, let me walk you through what the day actually looked like. We were a group of 5, and the SUV showed up right on time at our hotel. The ride to the port took about 20 minutes, and when we arrived, we met our captain, David, and his tiny chihuahua, Percy, who came along for the trip. David and his partner, Patricia, helped us get settled on board. My dad has some mobility issues, and they were incredibly patient helping him on and off the boat. It set such a positive tone for the rest of the morning. After a short safety chat, we started heading towards Sa Dragonera, which is this long island that looks like a sleeping dragon from the water. The sea was calm, the weather was perfect, and at one point, David even let me take the wheel while wearing a captain's hat. Our first swim stop was in a small turquoise cove surrounded by cliffs. The water was so clear you could see straight to the bottom. You could choose to jump from the front of the boat or use the ladder at the back, and the water was refreshing and not too cold. We snorkeled around, floated on noodles, and even tried the paddleboard. And my dad was able to get in and out of the water with David's help, which made him feel confident the whole time. Next, we stopped in a second cove, which was even prettier. The water was even clearer, and there were little schools of fish everywhere. We swam more here and did a bit more snorkeling. It was super relaxing, just swimming around and soaking up the Mallorcan sun. After swimming, David brought out trays of Spanish meats, cheeses, empanadas, fruit, and other snacks. Since we had upgraded the food, it felt like a full spread. We also had cava, wine, beer, or soft drinks to choose from, and everything felt easy and unhurried. Sitting on deck with a glass of cava while looking at that coastline was one of those perfect Mallorca moments. Eventually, we made our way back to the marina, passing sailboats and small fishing boats along the way. By the time we got back, every single person in my family said it was their favorite part of the trip. Now let's go over a few tips to help you plan your own boat day. The first tip is to book in advance. These private charters fill up quickly in the summer, and reserving early will save you stress. They also offer flexible cancellation options, so there's no harm in booking early. Another tip is to check how close you are to Port d'Andrat. If you're staying on the west or northwest side of the island, this departure point is a popular option. But if you're staying further away, it might not make sense to book this one. I'd also recommend adding the transportation option. Taxis in the smaller towns can sometimes be unpredictable, and having round-trip transportation figured out ahead of time just makes the morning easier. Another tip is to bring the basics like a beach towel, sunglasses, and sunscreen. The sun in Mallorca can be really strong even in the morning. And finally, bring some cash in euros for tips. If your skipper goes above and beyond, it's a nice way to show appreciation. We were more than happy to leave a tip for David at the end of our experience. So, is a private boat charter in Mallorca worth it? For me, absolutely. The water, the coves, the relaxed pace, and the fact that everything was handled made it such a special experience for my family. It felt exclusive, memorable, and honestly a little magical at times. Our captain David was genuinely a great person, and our experience was seamless from start to finish. If you want to check current rates and availability for the same charter that we did, don't forget to check the video description. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Spain travel tips and reviews.